Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. I also want to give double honors unto the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations unto the elect of Yasharahla, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today, as well as the Akim out there enduring this truth across the four corners of the earth, preaching and prophesying through the spirit of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations, but are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And I wanted to get into a quick lesson dealing with Neo. He's an R&B artist, writer, this and that, actor, whatever. He's an entertainer. All right, now, he was on a podcast with, Fat Joe and Jadakiss, and he was explaining to them his situation of his four girlfriends. And in this society, as we know, a lot of women won't go for it, don't go for it, and so on and so forth. But also, as we see, the closer we're getting to the end of this society, the traditional ways are rolling back in, because there are a lot of people who, deal with uh, multiple wives, you know. Now, to my knowledge, he's like the main one that's super public with it, but I mean, it's biblical, you know. Man, he got his wives, he take care of his wives. The wives play their part, and the man he provides, and it's a system, right? And I'm not gonna play any videos, and it's fair use, by the way, fair use. But it's a system, As he was saying he was explaining to them, he was like, man, but how did you get it to? And he was like, well, he went he went from being married and got divorced. I don't fully know that situation, but for the most part, I guess he quote unquote cheated on this woman. Uh, you know, but he was just saying he got tired of being dishonest, and he didn't want to hurt anybody like he did before, so he just decided to be honest. And the woman he was dealing with at the time, he told her straight up, look, it's not just you. He had them all sit down, and then they came up with a system. It's simple as that. Just like in biblical times. All right. The woman would be at the crib, taking care of the crib, and then the man would be protecting and providing. Where it get misconstrued at is the whole feminism and the women's liberation, and the woman being catered and put on a pedestal. All right, just part of the disorder within our nation, ultimately. Okay, as well as the society who has a woman worship, that Queen of Heaven spirit. Okay, so they push the woman, and so because I'm also going to get Cardi B her reaction. Well, I'm not going to play any of it, but just how she reacted to it, you know. And she was pretty much saying that it was too much. She was like, if I wanna get some from him this night, or in the evening, and he already did what he did in the morning, and it's like, I'm gonna feel some type of way. But like I said, it is a system, and I'm not gonna dwell too much on multiple wives. We know, as the scriptures say, those that have wives be as though you have none. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, it's about getting the hell up out of here, man. It's about serving y'all by Shemal Shai, so we can be covered in Jacob's trouble. We can be covered in the evil times, the evil days, which is soon to approach. All right, but I just want to get how this modern ideology, it doesn't adds up, because like he said, he was explaining, he's like, well, yeah, want to be doing the dishes, want to be changing diapers, want to be da da da. It's a system. A lot of these women get burnt out having to do so much. Well, won't you get you a so-called sister wife or whatever? If you had another woman there to help, it would be easier, right? And I'm gonna try to remember a couple more points that they were speaking about, but I do want to get this here. First Peter 3:1, it says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, because it goes into how they're operating with themselves, man. Um, a lot of women compete with one another, which it happens. I'm actually going to read Genesis 30, where it talks about the mandrakes and them kind of being jealous of one another because they was barren. Because back then, women understood being a woman, being a wife, you was to bear children. And these day and age, women delete children, by way of, you know what, that the parenthood that's planned. All right. And they don't really take honor in their duty, which is to bear children. Okay, but it says First Peter 3:2, it says, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, all right, by the way that you're operating, because this is how you say you believe in YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI as a woman, as a female. This is how you're supposed to be operating. Okay. It says, whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, and of putting on of apparel, certain hairstyles, especially in these day and age, just be weaves and wigs and all of that. You're supposed to have your head covered, man. When you out and about, all right, when other men are present. It says, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in the which is not corrupted, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of the Most High a great price. I want to look up that quiet, because we says a meek, so humble, contrite, and then quiet. It says tranquil, yeah, peaceable, right there. Let me see what else they got. Keeping one seat, still, so you're not gadding abroad, you're not out and about, you're not all at the clubs, you're not in everybody's face, you ain't at the hair salon yapping your grill and this and that. That's the type of energy she has. Loud, clamorous, rah rah, so on and so forth. Look, she got a damn Playboy necklace on. So she got here it is, you got a man pregnant. I believe she's pregnant at this point in time, after she just got done with the other guy. That's what this society is. There is no order in it. So she's saying, oh, it's just too much, he got this, and I know they be going that and but they have a system. It works for them. Why are you? It's just other women, and when it don't click in they little peanut head, then it becomes a problem. You go just keep being a rat. You keep being a rat and let them women deal with their husband. They have a system. I'm about to look that up through the spirit. I keep saying it, man. And at the end of the day, shoot, YAHAWASHI, that's how he operates. All right. He operates by system. It says a whole creation, a universe, an arrangement, a system, right? Sinistani, to place together, organize, form, and order, and that's the main thing. Everybody have their part to play, and they do their part in an orderly fashion. Things get done. Okay, cause to stand, make, or be firm. Yeah, because it's a foundation. All right, it's not like you just picking and choosing when you want to do your duties. You wake up to do your duties. You go to sleep to do your duties. All right, you're thinking about your duties for the most part, as we should be doing towards YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. Because if we're the bride of YAHAWASHI, then that makes us his wives. All right, so we ought to be doing our duties as well, being meek, being quiet. But ultimately, this is speaking on the conversation or the conduct of women who believe. Right? It says, for after this manner in the old time, the holy woman also, who trusted in the Most High, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. That's what a lot of women these days are missing, the subjection part. They want to be equal to or be above. There was a podcaster going around and he was asking women certain questions of pretty much how do you want the man to protect and provide and to lead, but you pretty much don't want. I forgot how he was wording it. He was cutting the hell out of them too though. And then one of the women said, yeah, we want to be led and we want to be in control. Well, it don't work like that. Like I said, you be quiet, you sit still, you shut up and sit down and let me work, you know? It says, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement, which she would not be considered one of those daughters. Okay? You could tell by her music, tell by her mouth, tell by her attitude, her demeanor, all of that. Look, she got the eyelashes on, all of the makeup, the wigs, and it's all of that is a thing of this world. Is gonna be a thing of the past, man. Okay. Cause she's reacting like, no, it wouldn't work. It just don't work for you, cause you don't know how to sit still. You don't know how to be unsubject unto your husband, man. All right, that's why it doesn't work to you. A lot of these women nowadays blame everybody else when they know good and damn well that they're the problem. Or you're sitting here changing men like you change your pennies, but won't you change your ways? Maybe that'll help. All right. Um, so this is going into it a little bit, and I'm gonna kind of breeze through it because you had them kind of going, at it with each other in a sense, but it wasn't like they were scratching and clawing and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm about to. You ain't gonna hear about them going to get another man because they ain't getting their way. No, they was under subjection, man. All right, it's a pretty good read, so I'm gonna kind of breeze through it. This is Genesis 30:1. It says, and when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, am I in the Most High stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? So he's like, what you mean give you, I can't do nothing the Most High won't allow me to do. He's the one that took that ability away from you, so he's the one that's going to have to give it to you. Chill out and calm down. But it ain't nothing. Oh well, you don't try, then I'm gonna go and get somebody else. No, but that's this society when the women don't get their way, because they don't want to operate according to the system, man. It says, and she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife, and Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, the Most High hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. So she got to the point where she was envious of her sister, because her sister was bearing children, but she couldn't bear children. Right? So what she did, she gave her handmaid, her servant, like, hey, we'll have children by her. In my stead, with the surrogated mothers, in a sense, they'll a woman can't have children, so she'll have her man have children with another woman, but she would claim the child is hers, man. All right, that's how much it was, but she ain't like, oh well, I guess I just won't have no. She's like, here, take this woman. You know what I'm saying? She's here. Go ahead, get her. Because it wasn't their minds, wasn't like her mind and majority of the women in the world at this point. Because we do have Isaiah 4:1. Dang. We do have Isaiah 4:1. It says, "And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name and take away our reproach." And that reproach is going to be Jacob's trouble. You know, when shit hit the fan and it's a famine out here, and when it gets dark, bro, I just kind of been stuck on that word since the elder brother Mathatya said it a couple weeks back in the lesson. You know, he said as the days get darker, and he was pretty much explaining how we ought to be behaving ourselves in conduct. You know, and that's what it is. And when them days get dark, these women not gonna have all of that pride that they have oozing off of them. They ain't gonna be as loud and clamorous as they are now, because it's gonna be survival of the fittest, man. Okay, and most of them ain't fit and physically, and they ain't fit mentally or spiritually. All right. So it says, verse 7, Salakia, it's First Peter 7:30 and 9. It says, "When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid and gave her Jacob to wife, so Leah could no more have children. So she gave Jacob her servant." All right. It says, "And Zilpah Leah's maid bare Jacob a son, and Leah said, A troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah Leah's maid bare Jacob a second son, and Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed, and she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in days of the wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, Is it a small thing that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrake also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrake. Because he was married to Leah first, but he was working for Rachel. So he ended up getting Rachel second, but Jacob loved Rachel more. So, like I said, they're having differences and all of that, but they ain't scratching and clawing at one another, because at the end of the day, shit, they're women. They have emotions, all right, but they were still subject unto their husband, in the sense they're not fucking going off and, all right, well, since you doing this and you spending time with her, then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do the same. No, all right. That's why, like I said, Neo and his family, his household, they have a system. Okay. Like he said, shit, I'm tired of I'm tired of lying. I'm just tell you what it is. You go roll with it or not, man. It says, And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And the Most High hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the fifth son. And Leah said, The Most High hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, The Most High hath endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterwards she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And the Most High remembered Rachel, and the Most High hearkened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, The Most High hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, The Most High Yahawah shall add to me another son. So as you can see, if the Lord remembered her and heard her, she had to have been praying that he can open her womb and allow her to bear children. So it's up to YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, like I said, it comes with a, like he even explained himself. It's a mindset, It comes with a mindset. It's not like you. Oh, I just got as many wives and all these wives. And I'm speaking to us now, being in this truth and serving Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Just one wife, 2 wives, whatever. Uh, it's still a mindset. At the end of the day, we supposed to be serving YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. You know, if you have it like that, you have it like that. But you know, it's shit. We have duties. You know, that's the thing. We have duties, but you do see the earth getting back into that vibration. You know, not only us who know of it biblically, but just the ones on the outside, the ones who ain't serving Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you know, or at least publicly, you know, they even they're starting to get into it. You'll see shit. There's a whole fucking, I think it's an Instagram page with, you know, polygamous polygamy couples on there. All right, and that's shit. That's just what it is. You know, all of that loud, and that's the women that's like her. They have that type of mindset and just loud. Y'all know how she is. A lot of men are getting away from that shit, man. At a point in time, we dealt with it, you know, and we settled for it. We chased it, dealt with it, and settled for it. But now it's like men know, understanding their worth, man. You know, especially men of the Lord. All right. So, I mean, you can watch the interviews yourself. She didn't, you know, it was like the first half of her show. I mean, you know, her little clip. But he was just explaining it, and then she disagreed with it. You know, as most women would. Oh, that wouldn't be me. Da, 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 da. But it's crazy because it be you anyway. You just either one, don't know, or two, don't want to know, or three, um, shoot, know and you just sticking around. All right. Four, you found out and you came back, and it's like we might as well be in this house together and build together. Everybody gotta have two people in a household dealing with the mortgage or rent or bills or whatever. Well, imagine if you had another person there. You ain't women. Speaking to the women, you ain't as burnt out as you normally are dealing with the children. Boom, 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 boom. Whatever the case is, man. Like I said, it's a system. It's a mindset, and the earth is getting back into the vibration of the Bible, man. Dang, that sounds like a beautiful lesson. Lord willing, I can get something with that, you know. But yeah, I ain't want to dwell too much on it, but hey, all women ain't gonna get it until shit hit the fan. Put it like that. So hey, with that, Lord willing, you was edified, and Lord willing, we allowed to endure into the end. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, Shalom.